got the last leg, and we're oh wow, I haven't seen the sun today. So we will, the running of the remainder of today. This is Rona from Glasgow. I should introduce her properly, but she's one of the partners. Representing one of the partners, and we'll be hosting the Glaswegian Symposium in Scotland. Yeah. And after we hear from Rona, I will come back and I will speak to you a little about what Jack is going to share, and then we will have a sharing from May, and then we will have a group sharing, and that will bring us to the end. And we shall release you. Alright? So I'll do a bit of yo-yoing, but fair.
Closing remarks. I'm Gallagher, arts producer for Glasgow Life, and we run a programme called Good, which in Scottish Gaelic means incubation, or hatch an idea. And I discovered that God is the Irish Gaelic for good. What is the Welsh? Any Welsh speakers? No. I meant to ask Dan. So it's a program for the 11th.
I just walked in and heard what was the Welsh, but I didn't hear what the words were.
Hatch or incubate,
or
lay.
Leòr, I think Leòr or Dodwy.
Leòr or Dodwy, there we go. I'll have to get the spellings out. So it's a program where we allow artists to develop their work over a 3-month period. We give them generous funding and we give them some support and we facilitate it, and we work with Copeland Lochas up in Skye, which is an amazing resource for artists to develop their work. And then they do a scratch performance. Now, way back in 2018, Rob was one of our first good artists in that current model, and we've been working closely ever since. Yeah. So it feels a really beautiful full circle in more ways than one. It's because our good for 25 will be at the CCA in Glasgow on the week beginning the 12th, after this symposium in Glasgow. So I'm just here to say thank you very much for coming over to Glasgow. We're looking forward to having you. What a fantastic day it's been. I've been really, really stimulated and ended up talking about dance I didn't expect to. That was really nice. And so it was when she was giving her speech. She had a great talk. You get that great metaphor about fire and ashes. There's something in Gaelic culture called smála gingéine, which is when you go to bed at night, there's a ritual to keep the embers burning so that the fire doesn't go out and so that we can restart it in the morning. And of course in these days it was life or death. You had to keep the fire going or else. And there's a great book by, it's not a book, it's a collection of incantations and prayers called the Communia Fidelica. And there's a beautiful ritual in that about Smála gingéine. So I thought that's quite a nice way to end. So we'll do a wee Smála gingéine. If I had prepared a wee bit of contemporary dance to do that for you.
Very Olympic.
And we'll keep the fire burning until you get to Glasgow. So looking forward to that. Yeah.
Audience participation. Not really. Okay. So central to this sharing is Jack would like you to be present in the space while he's moving. So anyone who is fully up for standing for 13 to 15 minutes, please come down, inhabit the space. Feel free to come in and out. Yeah. So I know, for example, if you, Jack said it's absolutely fine, you want to bring a chair, we have a couple of chairs. So just exist as islands in the space. If it gets too much, please do step out. So please collectively take responsibility for supporting the artist and stay in the space as much as possible. No liquids in the space. Young man. No liquids in the space. Put the coffee down. Yeah. Okay, and just picture yourselves as islands in the space, gathering it together, float in and out as you come through. Okay? So, Jack has asked me to share. These are some early experiments in a love letter to Irish dancing. Dancing with memories, sensations, and obsessions.